Oh man, oh, that's crazy. What's up, everybody? How you doing? This is Crypto Trader, and this is Mining Trades. Yeah, Mining Trades, right? Okay, check it out. Live price action, Bitcoin. That's what we're looking at. Damn, Bitcoin, 11,000 again. I don't know. We're gonna take a look at it though. That's what we're gonna see. I don't know. Let's see. Just gonna have this thing peeping out the chart, and I'm looking at my decred position. If you watch my previous videos, you'd see my decred positions that I took. I averaged them out right here at this 54 line right there. So as long as we stay above this 54, I'm above break even. This is my break even point right here. I took some trades up here, and then it went down to where I had to call it out, the price line right here, $45. Ben called that price line. I just touched that thing twice already. That's what's crazy. I had to figure out how to redeploy my money, so I made some videos on it. I hope I get some feedback from you guys. Please subscribe to my channel. Let me know how you feeling. If you're a trader, if you're a miner, if you're a miner and you want to trade, if you're a trader and you want to mine, okay, this is the right time to do it. Trust me, I got it. I got it. And shouts out to Life by Adam. Yeah. Shouts out to Tone Vase. Yeah. Shouts out to Jimmy Song. Yeah. Yeah, y'all are real strong in this crypto game right here. I see you. Let's see what's going on. Let me know what's up.
So I'm here.
Yeah, we're here.
In America. And we're here with
Crypto Damon and Mr. Scott.
So I'm here talking to Crypto Damon. And tell me the story again.
Hey.
Well, this gentleman here, I used to work with him at a job, a very nice job. He made about $300,000 a year.
Yeah, a little more.
And I introduced him to BitConnect, and now he has taken that and pushed the job away.
Replace the income.
Replace the income.
Living
with
like this guy.
BitConnect.
With
BitConnect.
Living free. See the flag?
The freedom.
The freedom flag.
Freedom!
There she is. Yeah, baby. BitConnect.
Today we're going to talk about a cryptocurrency that I haven't really discussed all that much on this channel, if at all, but have been watching fairly closely over the last, I don't know, maybe like 2 to 3 months, and I have finally decided to invest in it, and that is Salt. Now, Salt is a cryptocurrency that allows for collateral-based loans based on blockchain assets, which probably sounds fairly confusing if you haven't read about the project before. But fairly simply, let's imagine that you have $125,000 worth of Bitcoin, right? If you wanted to get a cash-based loan using your Bitcoin as collateral, you simply aren't going to be able to do that. No bank is going to offer you a collateral-based loan on Bitcoin. They may offer it to you on cars, or obviously a mortgage is probably the most common type of collaterally based loan. But when it comes to Bitcoin, you're not going to be able to get a loan based off of it. Salt is a platform that is designed to basically be an intermediary between you, the borrower, and a bunch of lenders that don't really want to deal with Bitcoin directly. So Salt sort of created a smart contract as well as what they call the Oracle, which essentially is a way to do a maintenance call in the event that you default on your loan or whatever else, which sells the collateral and returns it to the lender. Essentially, what it's trying to do is it's trying to create a marketplace between you, the borrower, and a network of lenders. And that's as simple as that. So what you have to do, again, if you had $125,000 worth of Bitcoin, you could actually get a $100,000 cash-based loan using the Salt platform, theoretically at least. At this point, there's no product. However, it is anticipated that they will be launching their platform in December. And at least it will only be based on Bitcoin at the beginning, so you won't be able to do it with Ether or any other cryptocurrency on this list, aside from Bitcoin, but that is anticipated to change over time. And if you go to their website here, this is saltlending.com. If you click on this benchmarks button at the top, they will actually show you what exactly they are intending to do over time. You can see that in Q1 of 2018, they're anticipated to have Ether collateralized loans, right? And they're going to try to continue to offer collateralized loans, with Q3 2018 supposedly being the point at which you can take your altcoins and borrow cash based off of them with these loans. Now, at this point in time, as I mentioned, they don't have anything. There's no product at all. There's no purpose for the Salt token. However, if they are able to successfully launch the service starting in December, sometime this month, I imagine that a lot of people are going to use it, and here's why. This market at the moment, I have mentioned this before, is sort of filled with irrational exuberance, and there's going to be people that want to leverage their positions, and that's exactly what Salt allows you to do, assuming their platform works. And I want to say that this is the biggest risk factor for Salt. There are some serious regulatory implications of using or creating a lending platform. Lending is actually one of the most tightly regulated industries in the entire world, and they actually acknowledge this in their white paper. If I go a little bit further down here, so you can see here they mention all of these different acts that they will actually have to be in compliance with, and they actually are hiring people for compliance, and that makes perfect sense to me because they absolutely need to. If you go to the careers section of their website, they actually are hiring a number of different people. And you can see here, Senior Loan Operations Associate, as well as Compliance Officer. So they are a team that is attempting to do this the professional way, from what I can tell. It does seem like it's a legitimate team. It seems like it's a bunch of people that really are sort of like this startup mentality. I will tell you that I don't know for sure how legitimate this is going to end up being, because I don't know if they have the network of lenders that they boast that they have. We're not going to find out until they launch the platform. So what I want to emphasize about this particular investment is that it is super high risk, because number one, it is relying on them launching the platform in December, and number two, it is hoping that they actually have the network of lenders that they brag about, and number three, that they aren't going to get hit hard with regulations, that they are in fact complying with them, and they don't have to worry about being taken down by the government for whatever reason. So what I want to emphasize, very important with this, is that you should only invest what you're willing to fully lose. Not mostly lose, not 50%, not 75%, fully lose, okay? So be aware of that. I bought in at 40,000 and a half roughly Satoshi, so roughly somewhere around 40,500. I expect that we are going to see SALT go up substantially in the event that it actually is a successful platform. I mention this because, as I was saying before, there is a rational exuberance in this market. People are going to, essentially, what they're going to do, let's say you have $10,000 worth of Bitcoin, which at this point is effectively one Bitcoin, right? If you wanted to get a cash-based loan based off of that Bitcoin, you might get somewhere in the ballpark of, say, like $8,000 or so, right? So if you get an $8,000 cash-based loan and still get to hold the Bitcoin, right, it'll actually be stored in a contract. So, of course, you will have to repay the loan before you have access to that Bitcoin, but it is still yours, and the capital gains on that Bitcoin will still be yours. What I suspect people are going to do is they're going to take their Bitcoin, they're going to put it in the smart contracts that manage these loans, they're going to take the loans, and then they're going to reinvest back into Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. Now, should you do this? Absolutely not. Okay? 99% of people should not do that, because it is literally playing with fire. Because number one, well, it's not literally, but you get the point. You have interest rate payments that you have to make, okay? More simply known as just interest payments. I don't know why I said interest rate. Anyway, you have interest payments that you have to make, so it's not just principal repayments. And in addition to that, you're also risking the Bitcoin that you already have in the event that the value goes down, right? Leverage is a double-edged sword. In the event that Bitcoin goes up substantially, you'll be able to cover the interest rate payment. I keep saying that, interest payment. And you'll also be able to cover all of the principal, because you'll have these gains, you'll be able to make an early repayment of your loan, and you'll be happy, right? That's what happens if Bitcoin goes up. If Bitcoin goes down, however, number one, you're going to get a maintenance call, okay? And number two, if you took the loan and reinvested it back into Bitcoin, you're not going to have as much to repay the loan with. So now you're going to have to rely on your savings, or you're going to have to rely on your income or whatever else to be able to pay off the loan. So I do not recommend doing this. I do not recommend taking loans to invest back into the market. However, I suspect that a lot of people are going to do this. Unfortunately, no matter how you look at it, I think a lot of people are going to do this. I think that's how a lot of people are going to use the SALT lending platform. They're going to use it as a way to leverage their trades. There are some exchanges that offer leverage, but this is a way that you can get it essentially on anything because it's cash, right? So you can effectively use it for any purpose, and you can use it on any cryptocurrency anywhere, right? Because cash can be eventually converted into any of these cryptocurrencies. So what I suspect we're going to see is we're going to see a bunch of people borrowing against their Bitcoin and making very high-risk decisions in order to be able to pay off both their principal of the loan as well as the interest. And it's going to result in a market that gets highly leveraged. I think we're going to end up with a market, if SALT is very successful, I actually suspect it's going to pump a ton more capital into the market just around the same time, assuming that this launches in mid-December to late December. It's going to happen at roughly the same time as futures happen, which is December 18th. So this is, I think, one of the most interesting developments that we're going to be able to watch over the month of December. And I wanted to have some exposure to it, so I did, in fact, invest into SALT here. And I actually think it's a good opportunity. It's a high-risk opportunity. Again, only invest what you're willing to lose. number one, we don't know if they have the platform, and number two, we don't know if they have the network of lenders that's required to make this platform work. And there's actually other reasons too, mostly related to regulatory risk, that you'd want to be very careful with this. However, I do think that it's a strong investment at this point in time. It's up to you as to whether or not you want to take a risk in waiting for it to go back down a little bit. I can tell you that it's sort of been floating in this range where every time it comes up to roughly 45,000 Satoshi in the last couple of days, it keeps bouncing off of that level and going back down. If you want to take a risk and see if you can pick it up for cheaper, that's up to you. But I, at this point, am fairly bullish on it, and I'm going to initiate a position that I'm willing to lose, but still sizable enough that in the event that this ends up being a success, it will actually make a difference in my portfolio. As usual, this is not investment advice. I want to be very clear about that because normally I don't make this disclaimer in the videos, but I sort of have to when it's a cryptocurrency that's fairly small like this. It's not that small, but it's like a mid-cap to small-cap type cryptocurrency. You have to make decisions based off of your own due diligence. You have to make decisions based off of what you think about the markets, not based off of what I think. This is just a chance that I'm taking on a cryptocurrency that I view to be very high risk, very high reward. So, as usual, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you would like to support me, there are some Amazon affiliate links in the description where I will receive a small commission if you make any order within the next 24 hours after clicking one of those links, even if it's not for the item linked. So check those out if you're interested. I also have a Coinbase referral link as well, which if you click on that and then register and buy your first $100 worth of Bitcoin on Coinbase, you get $10 worth of Bitcoin free, and so do I. So it's a nice little win-win for both of us. Then you should probably switch over to GDAX so you don't pay any fees. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave a like, comment, and subscription, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you for watching.
If you trade Forex, here's a secret. There may be a smarter way. Nadex. Limited risk on every trade, guaranteed. Never get stopped out, never get a margin call. Nadex is a regulated US-based exchange. Start trading Forex on nadex.com.
What's up, guys? Tony here. Hope you're doing well. It is Friday, December 1st. Happy Friday. I'm excited for the weekend. And today I want to talk about Litecoin. Litecoin has been really flying under the radar lately, and I think great things are going to happen to Litecoin in 2018. And let's quickly look here at CoinMarketCap to take a look at the value.
2017 was a big year for Bitcoin, but 2018 could be Litecoin's year. Litecoin could be set up for a moonshot in 2018. In this video, I'm going to explain why. So look, first, let's talk about where Litecoin's price is right now. And it's basically at an all-time high right now at $85. It just went up today, and it's had a good week.
Diamond, CEO of JP Morgan Chase, had the nerve to call Bitcoin fraud. His own firm is among the world's worst scammers, having a track record of cheating their customers, squeezing Uncle Sam for bailout funds at the expense of taxpayers' money, and dishing out insane bonuses to the head gang of this criminal enterprise. Jamie even joked about his own daughter buying Bitcoin like women can't make sound financial decisions, comparing her to the herd.
My daughter bought some Bitcoin and it went up, and she thinks she's a genius now.
On top of that, this hypocrite compared Bitcoin to the tulip mania, while his own bank orchestrated the worst tulip mania in recent memory through subprime lending, and he had the audacity to threaten to fire any trader who buys Bitcoin, but he has no problem promoting and hiring individuals with zero integrity who are willing to manipulate the price of silver and gold all day long. This is from a man who leads an organization that is a seed investor in Ethereum and has high-ranking representatives in all major blockchain conferences. Blockchain technology is disrupting the financial services industry, and Jamie knows it and dreads it. NASDAQ is running test trials using it. Australia, Japan, and Germany are all prototyping blockchain services for their stock exchanges. TMX in Canada is already using blockchain for oil and gas contract trading. The blockchain is a single source of truth because it can't be tampered with and validates itself in real time. Up until now, there was no way to gain exposure to both the blockchain investment potential and cryptocurrencies using one specific investment strategy. Now, not only can you get leverage to cryptocurrencies, but on top of that, investors can get access to the best opportunities in blockchain by owning one publicly traded company that is about to become, as I see it, the world's first global blockchain dominator. Go to wealthresearchgroup.com/must for a complete overview of this newly listed business. Welcome to the Rise of Cryptocurrencies show. This is Lear Gans with Wealth Research Group. I'm joined by a true entrepreneur, a visionary. Charles Lee is the founder of Litecoin, one of the most successful cryptocurrencies on the planet. It has a market cap of about $2.7 billion and a price of $51 per coin at the time of this recording. Charles, how are you?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for being here. I couldn't be more humbled and privileged to have you on. Charles, Litecoin was released for the first time on October 7th, 2011. We're almost reaching the 6-year anniversary here. But when did you start developing and working on it? How much work and time behind the scenes does a cryptocurrency, when it's built correctly, like Litecoin, how much time does it require? How much skill, talent, people going back and forth? Is this like building a startup business, basically?
Kind of. I mean, creating a new cryptocurrency is not hard technically. Most of the code is already there, right? It's a forking of Bitcoin or Litecoin and just adding your own twist to it. What's hard is to actually trying to do it right. So with Litecoin, I learned from past mistakes of other altcoins before that and pretty much try to create a much better altcoin compared to all the other ones and try to create in a fair way. And doing all that and doing that well and building up the community is not easy.
Understood. Now, how did you get introduced to cryptocurrencies in the first place?
It was early 2011. I read an article in the Wired about Bitcoin and Silk Road.
Purex plus Clorox 2 detergent at a Texas rodeo in the ultimate stain test, where a truck full of
Silk Road, the drug marketplace, and how Bitcoin is the only currency accepted. And pretty much then I realized the potential of Bitcoin, the powerfulness of the uncensorable payments, and Bitcoin as kind of a digital gold equivalent. So, yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, and that was it.
What did you do prior?
I was at Google. I've worked at Google for 6 years on YouTube Mobile, Chrome OS, and Play games. And before that, mostly all software related jobs.
Charles, what is it about cryptocurrencies that caught the eye of millions of people worldwide? It's not a national phenomenon. It's a phenomenon that is pretty much global. And what do you think, or what's the feedback that you get about the passion that people have for cryptocurrencies?
I think the power of cryptocurrency is the idea of freedom of money. the internet brought about freedom of information. And I think what cryptocurrency brings is freedom of money. It's the fact that you can now spend money without asking for permission. One example I like to give is WikiLeaks. It's something that the government decided that you cannot donate money via Visa or bank accounts to, but WikiLeaks accept Bitcoin and Litecoin, so you can freely donate Bitcoin and Litecoin to them, which is as good as money, and there's nothing anyone can do to stop you from donating money to them, and that's powerful.
It is powerful. I love the fact that you can do this without permission. It's one of the attributes that attracted me in the first place to become involved myself. What is the potential? I'm sorry, let me ask you this before. The people who own Litecoin today, who own Litecoins, do they transact with it, or mostly do they save it in a wallet or an exchange? Is it used in the proper way that you would deem as a currency, or is it very early stage? And if it is used as currency, who accepts Litecoin today? What kind of merchants do that accept for WikiLeaks?
Yeah, it's definitely very early stage. Litecoin today is close to like Bitcoin 3 years ago. So there are merchants that accept Litecoin, but there aren't that many. And most Litecoin is traded on exchanges. People like to speculate on Litecoin. It's traded quite a bit. And obviously, it's also a good store of value, so a lot of people just hold on to it. In terms of kind of the cryptocurrency space, even Bitcoin is still very early stage. People aren't really using Bitcoin to buy stuff yet. Right now, it's still finding its position in the marketplace, in society.
Yeah, that's true. And what is the potential of blockchain technology itself when it pertains to, let's say, third world countries? Because I've done a lot of study about how the blockchain and $5 smartphones can really connect these people into the global economy for the first time, and they can be part of what's going on in the world.
Yeah, well, the cryptocurrency, what it allows is for anyone to pretty much pay anyone else anywhere in the world, right? Previously, with your traditional payment methods like credit cards, it's really hard for a merchant in Africa, for a small mom and pop shop in Africa, to sell things online to someone in the US because you just can't send them money. But with cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Litecoin, you can now send anyone money. You just have to have a Bitcoin address or a Litecoin address, and you can send money to them. So that brings out a lot of potential of people being able to transact globally.
Yeah, that's true. And last week we saw the launch of the first ever blockchain public.
Shopping online can be a real hassle. You've got to do actual work to find the best deal. By the time you've jumped from tab to tab, comparing prices and trying coupon codes, you're sick of shopping before you've even bought anything. Enter Honey, the world's most popular money-saving browser extension. With our free browser extension, you don't waste time or energy.
The Industrial Revolution created new models for us to organize, new models for us to collaborate. And the primary model of the industrialized revolution is the bureaucratic hierarchy, the organization, the institution the corporation, a pyramid scheme, a system that looks like the Egyptian pyramids where actions are taken at the bottom, decisions are made at the top, and information must flow up and be concentrated. But there's a problem with this scheme, and the problem is that power also flows up and is concentrated. And at some point, once you make the organization big enough, the person making the decisions or the people making the decision have too much power and not enough information. They are far away from the place where decisions are being acted on, and they cannot see the consequences of those decisions. And power corrupts. The more you have, the more it corrupts. And now, the organizations that through the scientific method and the Industrial Revolution brought us to this globalization, to the internet, to all of the amazing things we've built as a civilization, the fundamental units that help us decide, that help us collaborate, that help us organize, are failing to scale. We cannot make decisions on a global scale about simple things or about important things. We cannot solve the problems that we have enough money to solve, like poverty or climate change. And the reason we can't is because our fundamental organizational unit is failing to scale to the demands of a global planet. How do we fix this? On January 3rd, 2009, Satoshi Nakamoto invented Bitcoin. And most people think that this invention was about money, but it wasn't. It was fundamentally about trust. You see, the internet has given us this fantastic opportunity to be able to scale communication to a global level. We can now communicate effectively at numbers of billions of people all around the world without barriers, without borders, blind to ethnicity, nationality, race, religion, age, ability, or any of the other things that confuse our communication. And yet, many important things on the internet are centralized. They still have the fundamental construct of a bureaucratic hierarchy. Corporations that require decision-making at the top, of unelected leaders who decide on the social structures and rules of our most important applications and functions, and yet they are far distant from the users they serve. Organizations like Facebook and Google, but so many others too. The internet has scaled communication, but it cannot scale decision-making. And the reason for that is trust. We do not have a platform to scale trust. We do not have a platform that allows us to create trusted decision-making without hierarchy until January 3rd, 2009. Because once you understand what blockchain technology does, you understand that this is not about currency. Currency is just the most obvious application. Once you can build a completely flat, non-hierarchical, peer-to-peer network that allows you for the very first time to take trust and move it from being a system of institutions, bureaucracies, and hierarchies into becoming a protocol, a flat network that allows you to engage in trusted interactions with others without an intermediary, without a corporation, without a hierarchy. And we can make this technology scale so we can now have trusted decisions, governance, social decision-making on a massive scale without giving power to the few, without creating these hierarchical organizations that have managed to get us this far, but cannot get us any further. This model of trust is gradually seeping into the consciousness of the world. People are beginning to realize that we can do a lot more than just currency with this technology. We can build voting systems. We can reimagine the corporation itself, create ad hoc associations between people who come together to create new projects and applications without leaders. In this system of trust, there are rules, and these rules are very easy to determine and very predictable in their outcomes. But there are no rulers. And we have never before in history had a system of rules without rulers. And what happens when this technology is unleashed on the world? The world's governments rise up and say, thank you, this is the solution we've been looking for. We no longer need to make hierarchical decisions. Finally, we can scale. No. They say this will only be used by criminals, pornographers, ransomware. It subverts the state. We cannot allow it. We must regulate against it. Who gave you permission to do this? You didn't ask the regulator. You didn't ask the parliament to start organizing on a massive global scale. We did not ask for permission. And yet, here it is. It is happening on a massive scale, and it is growing exponentially, and it will shake the world to its foundations because it is a system of social organization that delivers equality as a feature and works at massive scale. Almost every important innovation in history starts off being illegal or unregulated. All of the interesting things that happened in technology were started by people who forgot to ask for permission, because the regulations themselves, the laws themselves, are written by hierarchical institutions to serve the incumbent corporations that need those laws to protect themselves from competition. The model that we are disrupting is not finance, it is hierarchy. And the rules were written by hierarchy, and of course, these systems break those rules. Well, guess what? Skype was illegal, and they did it anyway. Uber was illegal, and they did it anyway. Airbnb was illegal, and they did it anyway. And everything interesting in the world starts off being illegal. Self-driving cars started rolling in California without permission, and they were illegal, and they did it anyway. You are startup founders. When you decide how to build your next application, be bold, be brave, break a few rules. Don't do criminal things. Think of morality first and rules second. Break the mold. Don't ask for permission. Innovate faster than they can write the rules. Create the next world, the one you want your children to live in. One that is free from hierarchy. One that allows us to collaborate across the world, peer to peer, which means person to person. We can't change the world, but in order to do that, we must not ask for permission. We must be bold. Thank you.
Let's suppose that you're writing a really important email to a colleague, or a post on Facebook that all your friends will see, or a paper for your English class that you just have to get an A on, or a resume for your dream job, or a message to your crush on a dating site. The point is that you write important things each and every day. And whether you're an English professor or an English learner, we all could use a second pair of eyes to help us make sure we're always putting our best foot forward. Enter Grammarly, a writing app developed by some of the world's leading linguists. Grammarly helps you find and fix grammar, spelling, and punctuation errors wherever you write. Errors that other spelling and grammar checkers just can't catch. Grammarly also helps you improve word choice and style, making your writing clear and compelling all the time. Best of all, it's free. Better writing, better results.
So I'm here.
Yeah, we're here.
In America. And we're here with
Crypto Damon and Mr. Scott.
So I'm here talking to Crypto Damon. And tell me the story again.
Hey.
Well, this gentleman here, I used to work with him at a job, a very nice job. He made about $300,000 a year.
Yeah, a little more.
And I introduced him to BitConnect, and now he has taken that and pushed the job away.
Replace the income.
Replace the income.
Living
with
like this guy.
BitConnect.
With BitConnect.
Living free. See the flag?
The freedom.
The freedom flag.
Freedom!
There she is.
Hey guys, it's Ricky. So I wanted to make a video talking about a little bit. 35 would in a sense be a good buy based on these indicators right here. The RSI is at 35, which is 30, which is one of my qualifications. See signs of upward momentum, definitely what it is that I need. And the volume tends to be pretty high. Again, volume is located right here. Volume tends to be a little bit over the 100,000, so it meets my criteria. So again, I'm just gonna have to be
trading. All right, so first chapter here, we're going to cover a lot of the basics, and we will get into more detail as we go. So you may have some questions today that will be answered in the coming days, but you can, of course, feel free to call out your answers in the chat room. And anyone watching on the recording, you can feel free to email me, Ross, at Hey
everyone, today I'm going to give you a nice...
Good morning, Bitcoin. Today is Friday, December 1st, 2017. My name is Thomas Hunt, and here's what's happening today in Bitcoin. The price of Bitcoin was up 14.14% in the last 24 hours to a last...
What's going on, guys? Nick here, bringing you a brand new BitConnect video. In this video, I thought I would address some things that a few different people here in the cryptocurrency community have been talking about. BitConnect has been a very hot topic in the cryptocurrency space.
Hey everybody, it's Sean Davis with Crypto for the People! Kicking ass and collecting crypto. Electronium! You gotta look at this. You tell me if he's not...
Bitcoin-fund-manager.com. How to invest in Bitcoin. Some of the most important...
Hey everybody, it's Sean Davis with Crypto for the People!
such a demand. It's really incredible. Opening up the
right
trusty Bittrex, they trust the altcoins. I haven't been, to be perfectly honest, I haven't been looking too much into altcoins other than watching people, the market sentiment, specifically in a lot of chat rooms, whether it be on Slack, Telegram.
It's a combination of all these things. There's just so much, such a demand. It's really incredible. Opening up the trusty Bittrex, they trust the altcoins. I haven't been, to be perfectly honest, I haven't been looking too much into altcoins other than watching people, the market sentiment, specifically in a lot of chat rooms, whether it be on Slack, Telegram, Discord, like any of the, those free chat rooms you can get, Twitter to a certain extent. But I'm trying to see why people, like, what's the level at which people need to be convinced to buy something, right? Because in certain points of the market, when you look back, and this comes down to, when you look through your trading book or you reflect on what the market looked like back, any time around here. And one thing you can write down is what was the overall sentiment of the community? Well, how were people talking about this? Were they bullish? Were they bearish? What were they saying? And when it comes to altcoins, the thing I'm doing right now is I'm trying to see how much convincing people need to buy something. Not for me. I'm not pitching anybody on anything. But that's what these chat rooms really are all about. It's like, oh, I saw this rumor, or I saw this news, or buy this, or here's what this chart says. And it's like, how easily will people buy something? And that, to me, is a very good proxy for knowing how solid this chart is. And I think that there's enough people that they're not buying just anything right now. Like, they're not just throwing money at it, but there's definitely people that want to throw money at something, but they're trying to be smart about it, which is a good thing. So what that means, in my opinion, is that you're just going to continue to see the ups and downs on this, and Bitcoin's just going to continue to be this kind of high volume juggernaut for at least a few more days. Maybe until the CME comes out, maybe not. But what I would encourage anybody to do is focus on 5 of these. Do your research, dive into it, and get some information that will give you the conviction to make a real bet on one of these, or make a real investment, I should say, whether it be short term or long term, and not do the I'm going to throw a little bit of money at a lot of stuff this week, right? Trade less but trade bigger amounts. That's really, in my opinion, that's the way to do it. That's the way you're going to make a lot of money. So we'll get into it. I think next week I'll have a little bit more of an idea. There's a few that I'm looking at right now. Specifically, it was really interesting. Last night I went to an event down here in San Francisco with Stellar Lumens, Neo, and there was 2 others, like X. I can't remember the name of them, but it was really cool. And these guys all spoke. Dong from Neo and Jed from Stellar. And there's a few things that came out of this. The first thing was I got to meet a lot of you guys, which was awesome. And I really want to keep doing these kind of meetups. I'm gonna see what the deal is with renting out spaces or just meeting up, wherever. But it is so powerful when you just meet people, real life, and just get to talk to them and chat with them and help each other out. So that's super cool. It makes this all very real. I think the other thing that that I got out of this personally was there's this guy down on the end here, and maybe he's over here. No, he's not on the meetup list. So Ontology and Elastos were the other companies. That's what it was. But anyway, there's a guy who's a venture capitalist. He is a venture capitalist, and he was also around in the 90s as an investor and took a couple of companies public. And he got to watch that bubble boom and burst. And he had a really interesting perspective. He was definitely more from a business standpoint. And what I found really interesting is, as somebody who's obviously primarily interested in the business of crypto, but I love the technology and the potential of blockchain, to look at these two different perspectives and see where is the disconnect happening? Because anytime you see big bubbles like this, where, especially driven by tech, this is from history, but also from being a part of, like, you know, to a certain extent, the app business was kind of like a bubble where developers and product people tend to think that their vision is like how the world should be because it's obviously working, right? Like in this case with crypto, it's like you make a blockchain and it becomes a big thing and you're like the leader in blockchain and you're like, the rules are changing. And then you look at a venture capitalist or business person who's like, listen, things like the technology is changing, but a lot's staying the same. And I'm always trying to figure out how to connect those two, because that's where the money is how do you connect those? That's what all the great companies always have done. Those are the ones that succeed. And the venture capitalist brought up a lot of really interesting points about how blockchain is to solve real world problems and how blockchain will be used in a lot of autonomous systems, and also how 95% of coins aren't going to survive. And he was very frank about this. And I thought that was super interesting compared to talking about the products and the potential of the products and what this could do. And I think the big takeaway that I got out of this was I will start to invest more money when I hear people in the blockchain community, people building coins, products, companies, whatever, that are looking at the world and saying, here's a problem, and we are going to solve this problem in a way that people will readily use. A great example of this is Uber. Right? Like, people may not have known that the taxis weren't convenient or that, you know, driving wasn't worth it for them or whatever, and Uber really solved that problem in a big way. Same with Airbnb. What Uber didn't do is come out and be like, driving is worthless. We're going to change all of your behavior and make everything different. So I think that to me is a really important difference. And that is a more venture capitalist view of crypto. But I really think that that's what needs to happen for some of these coins that survive. And while, like, I'm obviously, I own a lot of Stellar, so maybe I'm biased versus Neo, but I think that what I liked about what Stellar had to say was that there's a huge problem with interbank or continental, between country banking transfers. And not even transfers, but just moving money, right? Like MoneyGram or Western Union or anything like that. And that's a huge problem, and it's an expensive problem. And it's a problem that banks actually want to solve and the consumers want, and they would use in low bandwidth settings, and it's very, very cheap. And it's kind of a win-win across the board. It solves a huge problem versus, like, I think Neo is an incredible platform, and I got nothing but good. It was very impressive. But the Neo responses were more like, you know, that's cool that the world has all these problems, but here's how the world should be. Like, here's the vision of what we have. And, you know, we're going to have all these decentralized exchanges, and here's how things are going to work when blockchain takes over. And I'm being, like, extreme about this. I'm paraphrasing. But that's not how it works. Like, it's very difficult to change human behavior. And it's a lot more lucrative, a lot more profitable to go and find things that people are already doing and make them cheaper, more convenient, more fun, whatever. but it's very hard to say what you're doing isn't right. Here's a new way to do it. That can work like once in 100, and when it works, it goes huge. But as an investor, that was a big takeaway, comparing the VC mindset to the product mindset. So that was my takeaway. I will say they were all very impressive, and I do own Neo. I own Stellar. Like I think that they're both great products. That's just my perspective, and something that I'm going to take away, and I'm going to layer that over the research I continue to do. If you are interested in doing this kind of stuff, I would encourage you, just go on meetup.com. I mean, that's how I found about this, or I saw this on Twitter, or I saw it on the Stellar Reddit channel, I believe. Seek this stuff out. And obviously I live in San Francisco, so it's a little different than if you live someplace where it doesn't seem like there's a meetup. But you'd be amazed at, if you start your own meetup, you can get a group of 5 people together and just chat about what you're doing in cryptocurrency, or maybe you can people who just want to learn more, and you can walk them through Coinbase, or you can show them anything. Show them you guys can watch the recording of one of these meetups. But it's super powerful to go and be there and to hear from the developers and from the founders and from the people who are there. I met a lot of people in the audience, and some were investors, some were marketers, some were just interested, some were developers, engineers. But go there and ask people questions. Introduce yourself. Just see if you can help people out. It's really cool, and you will start to see things unfolding. I got to talk to Jed for a little bit at the end, which was really awesome, and I'm really excited about what those guys are doing. So just cool, like a very cool thing. And what I will end with, as I often do on a Friday, is more about like the mindset psychology. And I think that this is something that I've seen in many businesses, right? Especially anything that has to do with making money. There's a lot of skepticism about any claim about, oh, you can make money, or, oh, this is going to make you money, for good reason. I mean, there's a lot of bullshit scams out there, right? Pardon my French. But there is nothing that is going to sabotage somebody's potential gains than being pessimistic or cynical about opportunities. Now, you got to be smart, and you got to do your research. But if you go into anything with kind of a leery eye and thinking like, oh, this is BS or whatever it may be, if you assume that it's not going to work out, your brain and your actions are going to, that's what's going to happen. And one great reason about going to these events is that you see people that are very optimistic. And there's a wide range on that. Some people are a little too optimistic, and some people are just kind of interested. They're not quite optimistic enough. But I think like one thing I've learned over the years is that when you really believe that, one, it could happen, and two, it could happen to you, that you deserve, there's no reason why it couldn't happen, that you couldn't pick the right coin, or the thing couldn't happen to you, or blockchain may actually become as big as you think it could be. Once you believe that it actually could happen, that's when you start to filter through a lot of the garbage that's on the internet. You start to look through the chat rooms and be like, this is all just noise. And you start to really look for the things that are going to make that reality happen. Now, I know this is getting kind of like Tony Robbins and stuff like that, but it's so true. That's why the smartest people in the world don't always make a lot of money, because the smartest people in the world are often very rational, pessimistic. It's they're smart. And often being optimistic means being kind of you don't get whatever. So I think that this is something that I come across. And I come across this a lot because when people, especially now, are coming in and asking me, hey, should I get into crypto? What should I buy some Bitcoin? What should I do? I used to spend a lot of time convincing people Like you should do. Like here's why this is so amazing. There's so much there's so much to offer. This is an incredible opportunity. And I've realized that it's very it's just like it's such a huge amount of energy to try to convince people that this is like they should just go for it. And if you're listening to this or if you're watching this, I can't promise you that Bitcoin's going to go to $1 million. I can't promise you that you're going to make $1 million. But what I can promise you is that if you start thinking that it could happen and that you have way more control of that happening than you think, the chances of it happening are exponentially higher. And this is the opportunity. Like, this is the thing. Maybe of our entire lives. There'll be other opportunities, but this may be the biggest one. And the best thing you can possibly do is to spend 20 minutes every day, this weekend, just write it down. This could go big for you too. Not just for the people that bought Bitcoin in 2012. Like, this could still be huge for you. And I want to just, I want to get that message out because I can't tell this to everybody individually, but I can make a video about it. I can make a podcast about it. This could be so huge. You gotta just think that way. You gotta look at it. This is not inevitable, but you could make it happen. So, very exciting stuff. I always get fired up thinking about the future and the possibilities of the future and how many cool people are on this ride. So that's really what this is all about, right? It's about making our lives better. It's about getting the life we want to get, and this is the vehicle. So let's just get in, hit the gas, and just rock it out. So I hope you guys have a great weekend, TGIF, and I will see you on Monday. Peace out.
You know what? When I see like, wow, Litecoin is at $99. $100 even, and Bitcoin is like climbing to 11,000. I'm just like, and look at all these Bitcoin orders. This is Litecoin orders. I'm sorry, they're about to really just jump up. Litecoin is like, there's like orders for Litecoin in there, just crazy. And then look at this Bitcoin order book. Okay, I just seen way more Bitcoin orders than that for buy orders. But this thing is already at the top and already still has buy orders. So that's not people taking profit. Everybody has switched sides and trying to buy this thing. So hopefully my Decred stops looking like this. To me, that's my break even, 372. That's break even for me. Engine's doing incredibly well. Extra Bytes doing incredibly well. My Funfair tokens is doing incredibly well, and everything's looking pretty swell right now. Hopefully we just keep going, seeing a rise. All I really care about is Bitcoin, and tell you guys the truth, but don't tell anybody. All right. I'll tune back in later.
going to be December 18th. So it'll be interesting to see what the futures money on the sidelines you're wanting to invest into cryptocurrency. The other day, we actually had about a 30% sell-off from the very top to the very bottom in that volatile swing day 2 days ago. Now, that obviously showed us that there was another buying opportunity. So, like I tell you guys all, if you're new to trading, you got money on the sidelines, you're wanting to invest into cryptocurrencies, this is the type of pullback, this is the type of stuff you want to look for with the prices going down. And then that gives you an opportunity to get in without chasing. Remember guys, do not chase cryptocurrencies because they will have that 30 to 40% pullback. And even if you do buy at the all-time high, we probably will break out above that, but you want to save yourself some dollars and try not to buy at the all-time high. You're supposed to buy when it's low or buy when it pulls back. This has happened, I believe, now 5 times in Bitcoin's just 1 year history. Now Bitcoin has done this many times over the last few years where it's gone, you know, down 30%, down 40%, and then doubled within months. Within weeks sometimes it's doubled. And that's why we're in cryptocurrencies. That's why I always say save some powder on the sidelines, wait for a little bit of a pullback, and then pull that trigger. So guys, this is exciting times. The CME futures are getting released. Looks like we do have an official date now, an updated date, and that is going to be December 18th. So it'll be interesting to see what the futures market brings to cryptocurrencies, because with the futures market, you have pretty much unlimited supply if you have buyers and sellers. So that's going to have a little bit of a conflict with the actual Bitcoin prices, I believe, because Bitcoin, there's a limited supply. Well, if someone wants to go and create 1 trillion futures contracts on Bitcoin with the CME futures, they're going to be able to do that. But if you were wanting to go and put a $1 trillion order on Bitcoin, well, you wouldn't be able to do that right now without severely crashing the price or making the price go up, you know, 100 times. So it's going to be very interesting to see what the CME futures. Now, also wanted to bring to your guys' attention that Coinbase lawsuit with the IRS has officially concluded, and it looks like transactions over 20,000, customers with transactions over 20,000 are going to, any information that Coinbase had on those users is going to be given to the IRS. Apparently that was around 1% of the users back then. But it's pretty interesting because the tax documents and the information that they're going to be receiving was between 2013 and 2015. Why is that important, you might ask? Well, Bitcoin actually was in a decline for those 2 years. This was before Bitcoin got so extremely popular. Bitcoin only really got extremely popular within this last year and maybe the year before. So when the IRS gets all these documents, it's going to be funny because a lot of those documents are actually going to show losses, and they're not going to show the gains like this year, for instance. If people had to give up their transaction history or Coinbase had to give up their client information for this year, then that would be a totally different story. I think they would glean a lot more light on the on their issue, because obviously taxes is kind of the IRS's issue. It's a gray area. I always recommend to try to follow the tax rules and, you know, do your best to follow your country's guidelines. It does kind of suck, honestly, you know, because cryptocurrencies isn't like the US dollar or something like that, you know, where an actual government has issued it and we should be paying them. Cryptocurrencies was issued by, you know, the people, basically, and created by the marketplace to create a new version of a store of value to compete against gold. It's way better than gold. It's way better than silver. You can't fraud a Bitcoin. I can go and make, put a bunch of lead in silver coins and go out there and sell them as real silver, and some of them might get sold. More than likely they'd get sold, and nobody would ever know the difference unless they cut up their silver or took their silver to a silver tester. And so that's the good thing about Bitcoin. Bitcoin can't be faked. It's peer-to-peer. There's no middleman. The miners act like Visa or MasterCard, where they validate our transactions. It's not going away anytime soon, and I think that prices will continue to rise. I mean, look at how much they've gone up in just 2017. They've gone up 10 times. And now everybody's starting to take notice. You got, what were the TV shows that I've seen Bitcoin on? You got Grey's Anatomy having a Bitcoin hacker episode. You got the Big Bang Theory talking about Bitcoin. You even have the Bitcoin documentary now on Netflix. So, and you got CNBC talking about Bitcoin almost every single freaking day, which is great. It allows more people to open accounts and get a little bit of Bitcoin. It's going to be interesting when large institutions and large money starts to get into Bitcoin, because I think that that's going to continue to drive up the price. We have such a limited supply, guys. I think I read an article that says that more than likely 4 to 5 million coins have been lost. Well, there's about 16 to 17 million coins that have been mined so far. So if there's, we'll go conservatively and say 3 million coins have been lost. So that gives us only 13 million coins out there that are being traded. And if you're anything like me, I'm not selling my Bitcoin to US dollars unless I'm paying for something, like my mining equipment or my engagement ring. I'm bartering with those though. I'm not actually, selling my Bitcoin. And a lot of people aren't selling their Bitcoin. I have some Bitcoin stashed away that I'm never gonna touch, because if Bitcoin does get over 100,000, over 500,000, over $1 million per Bitcoin, I want to have at least a few of them that I've never touched, so that I can be a millionaire at that point. And that's very real possibilities with the low supply. I've told you guys that if Bitcoin gets the valuation that gold gets, and it might just well do that very soon, then we would be at about $6-7 trillion. Well, we are currently at 300 billion, so that gives us, let's see how many times. Let's try to do the math. What is that? 15 times, 20 times maybe. We'll say 20 times right now. So we still have 20 times to go up from this $10,000 level. That makes us trading at a price of $200,000 per Bitcoin. Very realistic. Very realistic that if we are in some sort of craze or bubble, that it might even surpass gold's market cap. It's safer than gold. It's easier to transact than gold. I don't have to sliver off a piece of my gold bar in order to pay something. I can just pay someone in 0.1 of a Bitcoin if I need to, or 0.00001 of a Bitcoin if I need to. So this can effectively change the way transactions around the world are done. It can effectively change the way that our entire financial system across the world is done. There's no intermediaries, there's no banks, there's no fraudulent system where they can just keep creating money and loaning it to each other making more money. This is literally the people's coin, and I think it's up to all of us to keep spreading the word and keep spreading the power of the people, because in the long run, that's what it's going to take. That's what we need. So Austin Angler out, guys. Thanks for watching. Hit that thumbs up button, and also hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed already. We thank you guys all for watching all my videos. Take care.